blood tests for cholesterol, or like you have blood tests for your complete blood count, or your kidney function, or you have your blood pressure measured. You know, you don't go to a doctor's office and the doctor says, well, you know, you are a human being. I think I should put you on 40 milligrams of Zocor. You know, he says, let me test your cholesterol. Let me see where you stand. Let me test it again. That's the way I think we have to go with antioxidants. Okay. The final element of this is you needn't be a yogi to be relaxed, is the stress component. And this, I think, is probably, if you want to say what's the most important thing, I would say this is probably the most important. Can you read that on the bottom? No. All right. Basically, it says, I'll relax when I'm good and damn good and ready. Scowling as he leaves the house. He's angry. Basically, a lot of this is under our control. A lot of our emotions are under our control. Right. Now this is a very interesting slide, okay? Because it shows we are all individuals once again. You got some guys walking out of their cars ready to kill, okay? I mean, this guy in front, he's, you know what's going on. You know, it was probably some poor person who's just had a car accident and is lying dead in the street, but this guy is very angry because he's going to miss an appointment. And I'm as guilty as he is, because I do this all the time as well. Then you have all these people in these cars over here. They're not out of their cars. What are they doing? Well, maybe one of them's sitting in his car listening to Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. All right? And saying, God, thank God for this traffic jam. I have another 15 minutes before I have to get to work. You know? So there are different ways to approach the same stressor. Which brings up, what is stress? Well, stress really is the perception that an event is harmful or damaging. It's your perception. It's all your perception. All right? Because the event is just an event. No more than that. This slide shows what happens physiologically when we're stressed. You can't read all these things, but basically, take my word for it, almost every part of your body is triggered to a heightened level. All right? Your heart's pumping faster. Epinephrine's coursing through your body. Blood vessels are constricting. Cortisone levels are rising. Right? It's easier for you to have a rhythm disturbance and die. It's easier for your blood to clot. Well, why did this develop? Why did this whole system of response to stress develop? Well, it developed way, way back when we had enemies like saber-toothed tigers. And if we saw one coming, we had to either fight the tiger or flee. So the fight or flight response. And we were readied for battle. Our blood was about to congeal. Our heart was pumping. Blood was rushed to the muscles and away from the viscera, away from the internal organs. And our brains, believe it or not, our cortexes, the higher levels of functioning of our brains, our rational brains were cut off from the rest of our body. Okay, why is that? Because you don't want to think about it. If you have a saber-toothed tiger attacking you, you want to say, well, maybe I should go left, maybe I should go right. Right? You just want to respond. You want to respond instinctively. You want to respond like an animal. And that's what this guy's doing in the front. Okay? He's responding like an animal. He's not thinking clearly. If we get into arguments at work, let's say, or at home, and we say things that are the stupidest, most irrational things we've ever said, and then later on say, oh my God, what did I say? What, you know? It's because you had what's called cortical inhibition. The cortex of your brain, the higher brain function, was cut off, was not allowed to function, because you were in the fight or flight response. All right. So basically, this is a slide showing that there's a negative stress cycle, meaning basically that stress begets stress. Negative thoughts occur, makes you more stressful, you think more negative thoughts. It's a cyclical reaction. Very complicated slide. Only to show you that every single part of our body is affected. Musculoskeletal system. You see a person who's tense, his hands are rigid, his jaw is clenched, okay? Sweating profusely. That's a tense person, musculoskeletal. The autonomic nervous system is off balance. That's a nervous system inside our bodies that is balanced between what's called the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. And what happens is you have tremendous sympathetic discharge, causing all these horrible things that I mentioned, about epinephrine and rhythm disturbances and blood clotting and all that. And here, hormonally, we're having changes. Our cortisol levels are rising, all right? Our DHEA levels are falling. When cortisol levels rise, we get fat. So chronically stressed people have a harder time losing weight. Here's a comparison of normal and maladaptive responses to stress. And you see on the bottom, and I'm partially colorblind, but that looks blue to me. The maladaptive, I'm not sure, yellow or green? Somebody? Yellow. All right. A normal response to stress is the following. You're going along, you merry way, you get a stressor, you peak, and then you fall and you go back to baseline. And you see on the blue, up and down, you hit a stressor, you respond, you get better. The way most of us respond is the maladaptive way, is the upper one. We get hit by a stressor, we never make it back to baseline. Hit by another stressor, never make it back to baseline. And our baseline is rising.